it's Mike again. Let's talk about the second presidential debates. The first 40 minutes, I was surprised Trump did act respectable. It wasn't as bad or as much of a circus as the last debates, but there are key takeaways. I need to look at that Trump didn't answer what he actually plans for the future, then basically rush vaccine, that, if you don't vote for him, everything's going to burn and be terrible. And just knock all of Biden's plans without really giving plans of his own. Biden actually talked to the American people. Trump talked to, more set up to insult and make scandals about Biden and his family, things of this nature. And of course, Democrat cities, Democrat governors, the reason the COVID relief package wasn't sent was because it was all to help only Democrats. That's false. Completely false. But, let's look at this. Do we really want 4 more years of Democrat-Republican being so divisive that there are cities and states that are solely Democrat, and that's like the worst problem in the history of the world, of the United States, where we're not pulled together at all? There's always been division. Like I always say, the right wing and left wing are part of the same bird, but this division lately has been ridiculous. Trump doesn't talk to the American people. He talks to his base, the Republicans. This isn't a Republican country. It's not a Democrat country. It's America. Set on some really good principles, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, but for some reason, anything coming from Democrats is supposed to be the worst thing ever and un-American. That's the other political party that is strong in this country. Why instead of not crossing the divide and getting us to actually work and fix this country, Trump seems like he just wants to divide it worse and worse. It's already been proven that Biden can work on both sides of the aisle. He was good friends with John McCain, who was very Republican. He worked with Republican legislators. Things that can be proven that he actually will work to fix the divide. Now, Biden is not going to be 100% on fixing everything and making everything good. Biden pretty much is like putting a tourniquet on an open wound. He's going to help stop the bleeding some and make it easier for change to happen. Now, continuing with the debate, a question was asked about black people and the talk that they give their children about police and brutality and violence and things of this nature, how to deal with cops. And Biden actually acknowledged the question, talked about the question, talked about how he understands that he didn't have to do that talk with his children, but black families deal with that and how to fix it. Income equality, social justice, justice reform, things of this nature. Trump got on there and went, I've heard it and stuff, when he asked about Black Lives Matter, he's like, well, it was just the reaction I had from the first time I heard about it because they were being very vulgar towards cops. But when he is asked about, the talk, he turned attention to that he has done more than anybody in the history of America for African American people. Really? More than Martin Luther King, more than Harriet Tubman, more than Abraham Lincoln. He said, maybe not Abraham Lincoln, but to that level, he's done more than anybody else besides maybe Abraham Lincoln. Really? Freeing the slaves, Civil Rights Act, countless other things that have been done by presidents and by other people that have helped change how it is for African American communities. But because he helped with some bit of reform with the prison system, he's done more than anybody. Really? How can people even believe this pile of crap? I mean, that's what it is. I mean, really, listen to what he says. He's a narcissist. He's got to be the best of everything and can't answer the questions. He didn't answer the question to the American people. He didn't answer the question to African American people. He never does. Because he doesn't care. He just wants to continue the power. Biden, I don't know. But I think, he has more of a concept of trying to talk to everybody and get everybody at the table. His idea of having police unions or police departments and civil rights leaders coming together and trying to figure out what can be changed, that's a step in the right direction. And me, I'd like 4 more. I would like not to have 4 more years of this dividing, fighting. You can't talk anything politics without it blowing up into some huge fight. Wouldn't we like to actually be able to talk to one another about these issues instead of Trump is the best, and no matter what he says or does, he was right on everything? Man, really, is that how we want? Think about the Constitution, think about America. Here's the story, and I actually do need to see if it's true, but our first president was offered king. George Washington was offered to be King George, and he turned it down because we had just fought a war against King George, and y'all want to appoint another king. But for Trump, he wants to just stay in power, and it has been mentioned to him about king and stuff like that, and he's liked it. That isn't very American at all. We really need to think about how this country is and what we actually want it to be on both right and left. Do we really want to continue this bickering and arguing and not fixing anything? And please pay attention that during this time of unrest, Republicans have more control. It's not the Democrats' fault, but both sides can get together, sit at the table, and work things out. I'd just like them to act like grown-ups and actually fix our country. And if they can't, let's vote them out. And honestly, I don't like the two-party system. If there's a way for more parties to actually get a political full voice in our country, the better. I'm not sure which ways to go about that. Discussion about it would be cool. End of rant.